You know, I have this habit of putting off the things that would make my life easier. I don't know why I do that. You know, it's just, it usually involves spending money or you know, taking time to go out of my way. Well, actually, it usually does not involve spending a lot of money. Might take a little bit of time. So there's really, that's no reason for it. It's just I put it off and get frustrated and more frustrated until I'm not gonna deal with it anymore.
Do you need those ground today?
I do not. I speak no exaggeration when I say that Custom Cup is pretty much single-handedly responsible for my love of coffee. Like, I enjoyed coffee before. I would drink it, you know, especially, you know, oh, let's go grab a cup of coffee and sit down and chat for a while. Obviously, that was a thing, but like, when I became really unhealthily obsessed with coffee and how good coffee could be, when I started drinking Custom Cup. Today was one of those days I was having a real hard time just getting out and getting to the gym, and I find that I kind of, I'm not energized by Friday. I don't get the Mondays. On Mondays, I've recovered from my weekend, I'm ready to go, but by Fridays, I've like burned down, and it's just, man, my motivation is at all-time lows. A lack of motivation is never a good reason to let yourself off the hook for something, especially when it's something you want to do. We'll spend our whole lives having things we have to get done, having the things we have to do, work, responsibilities, family, whatever else, right? All these things we have to do. And we let ourselves off the hook the most when it's the things for us, when it's the things we want to do. And man, I think that's the thing that's kind of going on with me with wrestling right now, actually. I know it's something that I still want to do, but I'm starting to find little reasons and little excuses why I could let myself off the hook and not do it anymore. Laziness, thinking about other things. It's not my goal, it's not my dream career anymore. All these things that would be a real good reason for me not to continue to pursue this passion. And one reason to continue to pursue it, and that is that it's still a passion for me. It's something that I've loved and something that I've dedicated my life to, and I'm not ready to let myself off the hook. Not yet. contemplate not letting ourselves off the hook for the things we want, it occurs to me that you have to know what you want. I have this theory with independent professional wrestlers. I think we all have a sort of fantasy career that we're trying to live out. You see it all the time. You know, my generation was the first one to get like sort of the behind the ring documentaries and stuff like that, and to really see what these guys were like. After that documentary, we got a lot of guys who I think idolized Mick Foley, and so all of a sudden, you know, when they would go out for their match, there would always be like a big bump, you know, something big that they put their body on the line, and then when they came back from that match, they would be injured, you know, oh, they'd be hurt, maybe they'd have a concussion, stuff like that. I think they were maybe unknowingly emulating Mick Foley. You know, it's sort of a thing we always poke fun at. There are guys out there who are retire over and over again, which is not an unprecedented phenomenon in professional wrestling. You know, guys like Roddy Piper and Terry Funk retired, or at least stepped away from the business many times. And, you know, so there are always these independent wrestlers who, you know, work for a few years and then have their first big retirement match for whatever reason, and they make the big speech, and then, you know, 6 to 9 months later, they're back and doing it again. And 6 to 9 months after that, they're having another retirement. And, you know, that cycle kind of perpetuates itself. And let me be clear, I'm not judging anybody for doing that. You know, if that's your fantasy, if that's the way you envision your career, go for it. Who am I to judge? I'm not. You know, I do think it's important that you recognize it in yourself. You know, what are you getting from this? Why do you keep repeating this cycle? When I think about my cycle, you know, I know when I was younger, I wanted to be the best. When I was first in the business, you know, my favorites were Bret Hart and The Rock. The Rock, untouchable on the microphone. Bret Hart, untouchable in the ring. I mean, and that was sort of, you know, that was my thing. I wanted to be the best. And you know, back then a lot of guys went around and talked about how arrogant I was and how I thought I was better than I was. All true. But then when I went to train with Harley Race, when I came back from that experience, I wanted something else. I'd evolved and I wanted to be a professional. And, you know, not in that I wanted to make a living off of this. I mean, I did. That was still the goal at that point. But it was less about making a living and being a professional as much as it was about carrying myself like a professional, presenting myself as a professional, being well-rounded in the ring, you know, being able to go on the mic. And I wanted guys to look at me and say, Jaron's a real pro. He's the real deal. That's what I wanted. I wanted to be a pro. And now, I think I've evolved again. Not that I don't want to be a professional, that's still very much in there, right? It's an evolution, so like, we've come a long way from wanting to be the best to wanting to be a pro, and now I want to be